turned his love of flying into a life-saving passion.
Meet Joe DeMarco.
Today we are getting a little child home, a 1-year-old girl that has some serious medical conditions, from Cincinnati Children's to Albany, New York today.
He's an angel in the sky.
There's no better purpose to get in your plane and take someone to a place where they can get better. It's just really special to be a part of someone's fight to survive.
He flies patients who are in serious medical need to specialty hospitals anywhere in the country. And he does it all for free.
We make it so simple for them. We walk out of the airport, within 5 to 10 minutes, we're in the air. We fly so many people with cancer that are told nothing could be done for them, so we are there giving them hope.
His passengers, mostly children, can't fly commercial. They are too sick and there isn't time.
Typically, our flight could be completed before someone could even get through security. If we don't take them, they're not getting the organs. They're not getting their heart. They're not getting their lungs.
Joe cares deeply for all the people he flies.
It's sad when someone passes, but there's so many more happy stories. I always say I have a lot of co-pilots in the plane. I call them my angel co-pilots. I can go on and on about things that have happened you can't explain. Flights we've done where we shouldn't have been able to done, and I shouldn't have been able to do it, and weather shouldn't have been right, and things work out, so it made me a believer.
To date, Joe has flown over 5,000 life-saving flights. Welcome, Joe, and one of his very first passengers, Christina.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Thank you so much
very
for
nice to be
being
here.
Thank you for having us.
So if there's one human being on this planet that has a halo over his head, it's you, man. That is
Absolutely.
what a magnificent thing you're doing. What made you want to quit your job and do this for people?
Well, I didn't just quit automatically. It just evolved. I started out my first flight. I was invited, Dr. D'Angelo from the same town where I live in. We went out to New York to bring a family home. I didn't know much about the details. And this little guy had cancer, and I had no idea what the situation was. And his mom, Erin, as soon as they realized we were the pilot, she broke down. And she explained that Hans was born with a tumor, and they removed it as an infant, and now the cancer was on his spine. And she just cried and thanked us and hugged us. And before that moment, I used to always look for a reason to go somewhere. That's what pilots do. On the weekend, they go somewhere for lunch or go get something to eat. So this gives you a real purpose, and that's how it all started for me. And it just evolved more and more, like meeting Christina and just giving people a chance where they really don't have a chance.
Absolutely. Christina, how did you meet Joe?
I met Joe when I was very sick in the hospital, and he flew me to Pittsburgh. I needed a liver transplant, and we've just gotten so close over the years. I love him. He's more like a father figure. My parents passed away, and Joe walked me and gave me away at my wedding in 2016.
Joe, what was that like for you walking down the
it was
aisle?
very special and very emotional.
Yeah. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Feeling good?
I'm doing good. I have 2 beautiful little girls and a husband, so
Oh,
thank you.
What is the process for something like this? Do the hospital call you, or how does it work?
We get calls from hospitals, we get calls from nurses, just friends, people hear about it. We get a lot of referrals from the hospitals that we bring people to. So for an order us to fly someone, it's very simple. We need a doctor's release saying it's okay for them to travel by air, and an appointment verification.
Now, Joe doesn't know this, but another family is here to thank him today.
Calvin and Sarah, guys,
Oh,
come on
my
out. Hi, buddy. Oh my God.
How are you? I like that pilot.
Cool hat.
Yeah.
Looks good on you, man. You look cool.
Sarah, tell us how you met Joe.
We met Joe, so Kelvin was born with a giant omphalocele, which means all of his intestines and organs were on the outside of his body. And he was in the NICU for 7 months. At 8 months, we decided that we needed to go find a second opinion, a different hospital. And that's when we reached out to Wings to fly. We couldn't fly commercial. Kelvin had a trach and a ventilator and oxygen. So no commercial flight could take us. So we needed to find a different way. We couldn't drive to that far, so we found Wings flights out.
And what was that like for you when you finally found a way to do this?
It was a relief. a breath of fresh air, to know that we could finally get the help that we needed, and that, you know, it wasn't going to cost us a fortune to just get to the hospital, to get the help that Kelvin needed. Joe is definitely our hero.
And you don't just drop these people off, and you stay in touch. You care about them. It's not just
Yeah, you build
thing.
relationships. And I remember when my wife was overwhelmed when the young couple shows up with little Calvin, and we typically don't do life support missions. But how do you say no to a family that said, we need to get to Boston? And it would have been expensive if they hired an air ambulance. So
Yeah.
I remember we were going actually on vacation, and I get a text from my wife, said, you're not going. And I knew I'd be flying somewhere because that's pretty typical. And that's just another thing, he's on life support. So just to see Calvin go through his 7 surgeries, you 7 now or 8?
7.
7. Just to see him go from where he was on life support. He had a trach for what, 3 years?
3 years, yeah.
3 years. Wow.
And he's such a little good pilot, and what a little character. He's making up for the 3 years that he wasn't able to talk.
All right. Are you flying that plane? You flying that plane in that picture? I trust you to fly. I trust you.
Calvin, is there anything you'd like to say to Mr. Joe?
Thank you for being my hero and being there when we need you the most.
You're welcome. Man. Thank